Thanks for joining this session. Today, Chris and I are going to be walking through how Veeam protects HPE's private cloud environment. And that's the whole portfolio, top to bottom. A quick level set. Up to now, HPE Private Cloud has come in three flavors. Business Edition for HCI-based platforms. That's Enterprise for fully managed infrastructure as a service, and an AI turnkey solution. AI Private Cloud, all built on the same engineered, hybrid by design foundation, all sitting on GreenLake, of course. And under that umbrella, Veeam protects it all, and that's SimpliVity, dHCI, and PCE, and Private Cloud AI with immutable backups, air-gapped copies, and Kubernetes-aware protection and consistency, of course, and no gaps. But those names you just heard, some of those are about to change. And Chris is going to break down exactly what's coming, and along with all the technical detail. So I won't steal any more of his thunder. So Chris, over to you.
So we can start out talking about HPE Private Cloud Business Edition, which has been relabeled in a couple different versions, actually. First of all, the SimpliVity piece has been taken and renamed the Private Cloud 1000, but it's all the same SimpliVity that you're accustomed to. Just be aware that when you order this from HPE, they are leading with their own hypervisor type now. So it's the HVM hypervisor as opposed to VMware. You can still get it with VMware, but you just have to request it. It's by default, it's going to come with HVM. And then the disaggregated HCI part of what used to be called Business Edition is now called the PC 3000. And just to differentiate the different use cases that HPE envisions for each one of these solutions, the dHCI environment would be a little more full-featured, a little more scalable. So that would be more of their core offering in the data center, and SimpliVity would be more of an edge environment offering. And I'm going to assume that most people on that are watching this video are familiar with both of those architectures. But just to briefly talk about them. I would think that anyone who's been, in the middle of building up data centers over the last, maybe 20 years is accustomed to probably building more of a dHCI type of environment where you have, your storage, your servers, the networking. It's all assembled separately, but HPE gives you this nice management interface to manage that as a full stack HCI-like environment. And then SimpliVity would be your true HCI solution that's distributed geographically and replicating workloads across a geographical area. So again, Private Cloud 1000, Private Cloud 3000. And then, Kevin, if you advance to the next image there, I think that we'll talk about the Private Cloud Enterprise. Now, again, this has been renamed the Private Cloud 7000, which really is a services-led engagement with HPE. That would be a customer going to HPE and asking HPE to assemble a variety of solutions that are all HPE specific, but it really could be any configuration of HPE products in that environment. And that's why I say a Private Cloud Enterprise, or Private Cloud 7000 now, is it falls more into a traditional Veeam conversation about protecting workloads no matter where they live. So that would be cloud, virtual, physical environments, different application, could be software as a service, applications there in that environment. This has been Veeam's messaging for many years now. So that's I think for any Veeam seller, that's a pretty easy talk track. And then for Private Cloud Enterprise, you can get Kubernetes workloads in those environments as well.
Christopher, this would be the true enterprise environment that we see in large customers, where they have workloads spread over all the different platforms. And it's great that both HPE and Veeam can take care of all those workloads, giving them true resiliency regardless of the location. And that's made easy because of the HPE underpinnings of the technology. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. I mean, if you kind of step through the last three solutions that we've talked about, SimpliVity is pretty simple for us. I mean, we're protecting that with traditional, network based protocol that we're just reading the data out of the VM and backing it up, and then so that'd be Private Cloud 1000. Just talked about the renaming there. For Private Cloud 3000, that's dHCI. So that would be a little bit more full featured for us with the customer. If they are running VMware in that environment, for instance, they get all the snapshot integration features. But then for the HVM hypervisor in that environment, we have an increasing feature set for our HVM backups to back up that core environment in the data center. And then, yes, for the PC 7000 environment, that would be more of the enterprise, kind of all-encompassing enterprise environment with the customer. I would say also it's worth noting that HPE's vision for especially the PC 3000 environment is that it could grow into something more like a private cloud enterprise environment or PC 7000 environment that they're anticipating, that even if customers want this kind of simple, well-defined, smaller engagement on the front end, the intent is that is a very scalable architecture and could grow into something much larger than maybe it starts out as.
That's great. Not locking them in, allowing them to grow. Obviously, perfect in today's enterprise. So we're going to move on to the last visual where we're going to be talking about AI, as everyone does seem to be talking about AI at the moment. So Chris, what do we have here?
Yeah, so this is the only one that HP has not renamed, and I think it's because they can't bring themselves to drop the letters AI from this private cloud offering. Of course, AI resonates with a lot of people now. Everybody's interested in how they can implement it in their environment, and then naturally the conversation turns to how do we protect that. One thing I might mention is the backup targets that I have on this slide. You can watch the video back for the other backup targets in the environment. Those are all certainly relevant. Everything that I have pictured here is certainly relevant as well. But you may end up employing a mixture of these in a private cloud AI environment as opposed to choosing just one. And the reason for that is you're protecting again virtual machines. You're protecting Kubernetes workloads, and those depending on what you're backing up and how, and your RPOs and RTOs and all those conversations that we're all accustomed to having at Veeam, along with technical limitations, you may end up choosing a couple of different repository types for that repository, for the data protection architecture.
So you'd recommend working with your local technical teams to place the correct technology in this solution, but both HPE and Veeam interact with your local pre-sales and tech teams.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to further that discussion a little bit, the X10000 is definitely going to be relevant in an AI environment. The The question of whether you include a StoreOnce or maybe a data protection accelerator node in that environment, I would say is really a question of both the type of data that you have that you're choosing to store in that environment, along with the scale of the environment. So you just have to dig into the conversation a little bit more.
So with that, I'd like to thank the audience for watching. I'd like to thank Christopher for taking us through the HPE technology. And again, thank you for watching the video. Thanks, Chris.
Great, thank you.